Siddharth, welcome to the episode. I will quickly introduce you to the audience. Audience, welcome to another episode of Laughing Over Lab Code, where we go beyond surface level stories and dig into what truly shapes a person, their thoughts, their scars, their silence, and their voices. Today, I'm speaking with someone whose words online don't just inform, they challenge. Siddharth Dey doesn't post to impress. He posts to provoke thoughts, to shake comfort, and to ask all of us to look a little closer at who we are and what we are becoming. But this conversation isn't about any single post. It's about the man behind them, what shaped his lens, what fuels his courage, and how he navigates through this world with clarity in a time full of noise. So let's meet the observer, Siddharth Dey. Siddharth,
Hi,
welcome to the
Anirudh,
podcast.
and
Hi.
thank you. Thank you so much. And hello to your audience as well.
Siddharth, for all the audience who are watching this podcast, I would really urge them to first visit your LinkedIn profile to read few posts, and if they watch this episode, it will make more sense to them. So, tell me, Siddharth, what is life for
Sure.
you? What is life?
So, it kept changing. If you ask me, in 20s, it was different, 30s, is different. Now in 40s, it is different. I'm 42 almost. So, if you ask me what is life to me today, it would be to live inside a hut somewhere in the middle of a jungle where you have no internet, where you have a small river flowing, and you're living a life for yourself. So that would be my ideal life today, but I know that is not possible. Uh, in 30s were different. In 30s I want to earn money, I want to be rich. Today I don't want to be rich. I don't want to be a rich guy. I don't want to own a Mercedes. I don't want to own a 5 bhk bungalow. That's not my dream anymore.
But it contradicts, correct? Like you post, you're available online, and you want to go away from internet.
Yeah.
So that's
I want to leave my thoughts for the world to read later. So, honestly speaking, it is not about me want to go away from internet. It is that I think that I am now, and not just me. We all are so much involved in internet that we are actually forgetting who really we are. These likes, comments, share. This has become an obsession for people. I'm not talking about myself, but I have seen people. For them, this whole internet game has become an obsession. So I think we need to get out of this obsession and see what real life is actually. And this is not how the world is moving. I think this is the trend which I'm seeing in subcontinent only. I could be wrong, but at least I have seen this trend in subcontinent that there's a lot of competition even in internet. You have one content creator and then you have 100 content creators who are trying to challenge it. They all are trying to compete with each other without having any distinguished content of their own. So so I think we are getting into that mode now, and I want to get away from it. And that's why I always say that no, I'm not an influencer. Someone says, you are an influencer. I say, no, I'm not at all. I just want to write what I notice, and I want you to think whether I am wrong or whether I'm saying making sense or not. That is it. I do not want you to adopt it. Although even if 1% people agree with my post and start following what I actually want them to follow, then my job is done. I think I'm talking to a huge population.
So
So
before
yeah.
we go ahead, Siddharth, can we little bit go back? Can you tell me about yourself? Like where were you born and how your childhood was?
So I'm basically from Dehradun. It's a small town somewhere in north, capital of Uttarakhand, and I'm a third generation Bengali, Pahadi. My mother is from Nainital. My father was from Dehradun, and I was born in Dehradun, and I grew up there. I didn't have much of pressure from my family to perform in studies or to perform in sports or to perform anywhere. I was raised in a very chilled environment, although tough environment. I will not talk much about the that what kind of challenges I had, but ठीक है, मतलब I was a middle class, but I didn't have much of pressure to perform. And After schooling, I didn't know what to do. Of course, army is something which I want to do and want to join the NDA, but I couldn't make it there. And somehow, I think I was a rowdy. You may call me rowdy when I was in Dehradun till 2004. I had a very bad circle. I was indulged in all sorts of bad things. Coming from hill state, you know what bad things I'm talking about. So smoking, all those things, bad things, and I realized that this is not something which I want to do. And one day I don't know what happened. I told my mother, I want to leave Dehradun, and I left that comfortable life and came to Delhi. Just to realize that life here is very different from what I used to live in Dehradun. It's very hot here. Uh, Food was not available because you have to cook your own food, right? And then I learned things. I realized that I was wasting my time back in Dehradun, and I started preparing for my masters, and I did my masters from Pune. Then got placed, came back to Delhi, and then my corporate journey started. Uh, so that's how it was, and I was never a good student. Never a good student. I would say I was below average student. I was bad in studies, but I was a very good. I had very good observation powers. I was very active. My GK was very good. If GK was a subject, I would have topped it every time. I wouldn't read my curriculum books. I would rather read Manorama, the yearbook. Every year, I still have Manorama yearbook 1996, 1997, 1998, 1999. All those Manorama yearbooks I still have. Although they were repeated, but there were some chapters which were new. I would just buy that book just to read those things. So I had good knowledge, but very poor in studies. But then, yeah, life took me where I am today. Little bit of hard work, little bit of blessings of elders, some good karma, and I think I'm happy. I'm just okay to be here.
Now coming to your the LinkedIn post which you post. So, what shaped your thinking, Siddharth? Your posts reflect clarity and conviction. So, where
Yeah,
does that come from? Again, is it from the books or is it from the personal experiences?
personal experiences mostly. What I notice, it's just purely what I see.
Mhm.
You know, uh, I'll give you a small example. I was having a debate with someone last night on LinkedIn. Although I don't use LinkedIn much, there's a misconception that I use LinkedIn a lot. But honestly speaking, I just post one scheduled post every morning, and then I forget. I don't get notification. My notification on my phone is off. So I was having a debate with someone, and I said no, and this guy was saying that Indian government is now changing the history books. It's not changing the history books; it's just adding some chapters and removing chapters. You can't remove entire history, right? About Mughals especially. So I told them, that there's an interesting thing. You say Mughals ruled entire India, but there is a small state called Uttarakhand. You do not have single Mughal monument in entire Uttarakhand, not even single.
No.
That's because Mughals couldn't reach Uttarakhand. The Garhwal kingdom and the Kumaon kingdom fought them off. And similar is the case with Assam, the Ahom kingdoms. They couldn't reach there. They tried to reach there. It's not that they didn't try. They tried. They lost, and then they never tried because the kind of damage they saw, they thought not to challenge them again. So this is something which is not taught in history.
Very
What is
exactly.
taught in history? That Mughals ruled India for 600 years, 500
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
What is the geography of India? That is something which you will tell us. If you're telling Mughals ruled Delhi, then you need to tell us that Mughals ruled Delhi. From Delhi, they spread to some parts of Rajasthan, some part of Punjab, some part of Haryana, some part of MP, some part of Maharashtra, some Andhra, and some part of Bengal. You can't say they ruled entire India. And that time India was not India, but group of kingdoms. So you can say that they ruled a few kingdoms, but not the India which we know today. To be precise, so I try to be very precise. I try to read history from different perspectives. There is one Romila Thapar who writes history, there is someone else who writes history. You need to read both the histories and then go back to that time and read history from that era also to understand Aurangzeb. You need to read his Fatawai Alamgiri and all those 3 4 books which he wrote, and these books are available. Original copies, original scripts are still available. So you need to read those. The translations are available. So once you read them, you realize that it's very different. What was taught to you is very different from what actually the reality is. And then I try to speak about it. I try to speak about the challenges which we have. I love my country. I love it. I won't say more than anyone, but as good as someone else. But it's something like I can't live anywhere outside India. As simple as that, right? Not even for 1 month, 2 months. I would feel really, really, really sad, and I would like to come back. So if I see something wrong happening here, not political, not anything else, purely based on a human behavior, I would surely write about it. You're from Mumbai, you're from Maharashtra, right? Now, learning Maharashtrian culture, anyone who is living in Maharashtra must learn the Marathi culture for sure. For sure, there is
And
no
vice
doubt
versa.
about it.
And vice versa.
And vice versa. Yeah, but since Maharashtra and Mumbai is the capital, financial capital, people from all the states come to Maharashtra and to earn their bread and butter. Uh, I can learn the culture, but I can't learn the language overnight. I even cannot learn the language in 5, 6, 7 years. It would take much, much longer time because mother tongue is something which you never learn. It just comes to you. No one taught me Bengali.
Correct.
I just learned it by staying at home. Although I'm a third, fourth generation Pahadi Bengali from Dehradun, I still can speak it. I can't read or write it, but I can speak it. But when I was in Maharashtra, when I was when I was studying in Pune, I made sure then I would, visit temple every day in the morning. Uh, you know, I would participate in Ganesh Mahotsav. I would participate in Rang Panchami. You don't celebrate Holi, you celebrate Rang
Yeah.
Panchami 1 week after Holi. Yeah? So we would celebrate that with the locals, and we would try to get the hold of the culture. So when I see anyone pressurizing someone else to speak a particular language, you can force them to learn the culture, because culture is something which you can learn very quickly. Language is something which you can't learn very quickly. Yeah, you can say that start learning Maharashtrian. For example, if I am in Maharashtra, I will start learning it. You can, if someone says, "Yeah, thoda seekh lena," and then locals also have to teach me. They will also help me. They will have to speak to me in Maharashtrian language, so that Marathi language, so that I start learning. But if you're talking to me in Hindi, if you're talking to me in English, then I would never learn it. So you have to
Right.
help me, and I will also learn. But you can't beat me, and you can't beat the shit out of
Right.
me for not speaking Maharashtrian
Right.
and Marathi in Maharashtra. So that is something which very small, small things, very minute things which I try to notice, and I try to speak about it. I try to, write it in my own words.
Yes, I agree with
But
you, Siddharth. Yeah. So coming
although,
to
when I say something about Karnataka, I get a lot of hate. Don't talk about Karnataka. Don't talk about Bangalore.
yeah. So you often observe a subtle but powerful human behaviors. Right? So do you naturally reflect on life this deeply, or it is something you have cultivated eventually?
Ever since I think I was born, I was noticing things. Ever since I know myself, I would notice everything. I would notice very minutest of the human behavior, and think, why is he behaving like this? For example, uh, two boys on the road. One hit the other car, and they get out of the car and start fighting with each other. I would just notice, why are they fighting? Why can't they just claim the insurance? Why are they blocking the entire road? Why are they choking the traffic? Why can't they just go to the insurance company and claim the insurance and be happy with it? Why is wasting time? So I try to think, why it you can't beat someone, you can't beat someone to bleed, just because there's a small dent in your car is a materialistic thing which can be bought again, which can be fixed again. But that wound which you have given to the other person, it remains with him forever. The psychological wound as well as the physical wound, both. So I try to think very small thing. Why is he doing it? Why? And any bad behavior, I try to see it. I'll show you. I'll tell you a small thing. We all chew chewing gum, right? You, me, at times. Did you ever notice that when you go to a male urinal, you will see boys or men, whosoever it is,
Yeah,
throwing that chewing gum
yeah,
in the
in the
urinal?
urinal. Yeah. It's there.
You've seen
Yeah,
it, right?
yeah.
Now tell me, in the entire world, he found that place to throw spit that chewing gum, which would be cleaned by someone with his bare hands. Someone will have to clean it with their hand because else you can't remove it. Now think what kind of behavior is that? What kind of mentality is that? That the entire world he found that hole to spit that chewing gum, knowing that it might choke the urinal and it might start overflowing after some time. So these are the things which I don't know whether I only notice it or others also notice it, but yeah, ever since I think I was born and everything I know myself, I started noticing things. I said I was not very good in studies, but I had a very good grasping power.
Just, I mean, two things here. You mentioned why people fight or why there is road rage. I think it's human nature, Siddharth. I mean, we cannot tolerate if someone does anything bad to us, something like that, as a human. And I also feel
Let's
this
let's
everywhere.
let's redefine it as Indian human.
No, that's what I'm telling
You
you.
don't see much of you don't see
I
much of road rage in Europe, in France also.
Europe, I
It's
don't know, but if you're on Twitter, you see a lot of road rage in US. People coming
mm,
out and then whatever spitting or banging on the windows. So that is how I'm generalizing this that I see in Twitter as well. I see in India as well. So probably it is human nature.
I would differ a little. I have been to Bangladesh, I have been to India, I have been to other countries also, but this particular very see road rage at a very in US even honking is a road rage. Also in
Yeah,
Europe, even if you're honking, that's a road rage.
yeah,
So if in US that road rage situation is happening where people are getting out of the car and banging each other's window, that's the extreme. In India, that would be like mass murder.
yeah, yeah,
Here it is very minute, very minute thing. Trying to overtake each other. Why are you trying to overtake me?
yeah.
तेज कैसे चला रहा है तू गाड़ी? Last couple of weeks ago, you saw what happened in Gurgaon, where the bikers were beaten by the goons on Scorpio. What was the mistake? They were just riding the bike, right?
Mm,
Maybe overtook the Scorpio.
mm,
That ego which we have here in
yeah,
India,
yeah, yeah.
no, that ego is huge. I think that is the problem. Here we have a superiority complex. We don't consider anyone as equal. We may say it, but we don't. Everyone has a superiority complex. मैं तो बड़ा हूँ, हमको कैसे कर लिया तुमने? अरे ऊंची हमसे कैसे बात कर रहा है ऐसे? You heard all those dialogues, right? So yeah, that needs to change. I think it must change.
Yeah, also because law is not that strict in India. So, there is always a getaway.
Absolutely,
So that
absolutely,
how to say that is
absolutely. There's a video from Kuwait. This guy was driving his sports car recklessly on the road. Next to nothing, they picked up the car, crushed it. Example set.
yeah,
That next time, if you're driving on the road recklessly, we will do the same thing. It's a $4 million car,
yeah.
sports car. They crushed it next day. In India, it doesn't happen that way. Forget crushing. They don't even impound the car.
You also don't shy away from failure or accepting that you failed because also on your LinkedIn
Yeah.
profile I saw you have mentioned somewhere that you failed.
Yeah.
How did that come and how you're taking it ahead?
I think it was 2004 or 5 when I was preparing for my masters, and I started taking a lot of pressure, that I have to perform, I have to perform, I have to perform, I have to become, I have to crack IIM, all those things. And I don't know who was that guy, who came once. I was talking to him in a bus in Delhi, and he said in Hindi, हम सबको जिंदगी में ना हारने का ही डर रहता है.
Yeah,
We all have fear of failure.
yes.
And he said anyone who can overcome this fear of failure, he will surely succeed in life, for sure. So I don't know who that guy was, but that thing actually hit my mind very, very strongly. And I'm not saying I stopped, preparing for a master. I started preparing, but I thought if I fail, it's okay. If I fail, it is okay. I started my business a couple of years back. I thought I invested money, and there was a lot of apprehension because giving up your job and starting your venture with your own money. You have to invest your savings, everything. Um, and I thought, what will happen? At the max, what will happen? I would fail, but I would not have this regret of not trying. So trying and failing is better than not trying and cribbing. And what at max? I'll lose some money, but I'll find a job again. Maybe not at that package which I was getting at that time, maybe half of that, but something to run my family and to take care of my expenses. So let me take that risk. Let me fail. It's okay. And this whole uh, idea of owning up the failures actually came from my mother also. Yeah, and I'll give you a small example. I was in Dehradun during that time. I think 2002, 2003, and these neighbors whose son must have cracked IAS or
Yeah,
IIT or something,
yeah,
something. They try to poke your parents. What is your son doing these days?
yeah.
What is this? Because they want to say that my son cracked IIT or you know uh, IAS examination, UPSC examination, something, something. So once, one auntie whose son made to the IAS, UPSC, she was checking with my mother, what is the son doing? And my mother said, he's not doing anything. She said in Hindi, कर तो कुछ नहीं रहा है, इतना पता है कि भूखा नहीं मरेगा. He's not doing anything, but for sure he will not starve to death. And this sentence, she told me, that auntie was asking me this, and I told her this. So that thing, that bhukha nahi marega. So I know that irrespective what happens to me, I know I will not starve to death. I will do something. I'm a hardworking person. I can work hard and live my life from here onwards.
So
But God is
that's
too kind.
no, that's what said that doing a failure is one thing, but owning a failure is another thing. And what
Yeah,
I always feel we fear the failure because we always look ourselves by the lens of others. बाकी लोग क्या कहेंगे वो क्या
yeah,
बोलेगा
yeah,
वो क्या सोचेंगे वो लोग क्या कहेंगे so probably that is more fearful than what others will say. That's why
yeah.
people shy away from accepting the failure.
See, there are so many times when you hear that people got fired. You know, now people get fired for n number of reasons, not just because someone was an underperformer. There could be politics, there could be gangbazi, anything. And those who get fired actually do not own that failure. They do not own it as a failure. They will say, they will make all sorts of excuses. They will just not say, I failed in this. The day they accept that this is my failure and this failure I will never see in my life again, that day their life will be sorted. I got fired, so what? So what? I got fired. It's okay. I can start again. Fire me again. I'll start again. Fire me one more time. I'll start again. So, so this thing is very important that you learn how to cope up with failures. Accept your failures. In fact, celebrate your failures. Although I have never celebrated my failures, but if you have to, if you can learn that trick of celebrating your failure. I think there was this lady in US few years ago. She wrote a post uh, that I'm going for a party tonight because I got fired from Google, something like that. And she said that when we get promoted and when we get a good job, we celebrate and we too gung about it. We are loud about the stories, but when we fail, we try to avoid it. We go into depression. Rather, I would do the same thing when I got fired. She was fired from Google or Microsoft, I forgot. But those few things, which I keep telling myself about failures, and I think it helps.
But it's easier to set that done, correct, Siddharth? Because when you accept you have failed, probably, I mean, for any employee, if he approaches some other employer, he might again look through the other lenses that, okay, you have failed, so you have something wrong with you. Probably.
Yeah,
That is
three
also
months.
the
Three
reason.
months ago, I failed. 3 months ago, I was running my own company.
Yeah.
This is my own brand shirt.
Hmm.
You know, 3 months ago, I was running my own venture and I failed. And I'm very loud about it that I failed in my venture. I burned a lot of money, but that is okay. So what? So what if he failed? So yeah, you're right. Correct.
So in a world where it's easier to say stay silent, So what made you choose visibility and expression over safety?
Yeah. So, anyways, we are all safe, until unless we don't poke others. I don't believe in poking others. I believe in expressing my views. What I see, and if you see, or if you can challenge me on facts, I'm more than happy to discuss whatever I write. Uh, but till date, I don't think many people have come to challenge me on facts, because whatever I write, I do a lot of research on it, and then only I put uh, something which I on LinkedIn. So how it came, I thought, what is the harm in speaking the truth? Am I talking about someone else? Am I talking about you? No, I'm just talking about myself. I'm talking about my India, my culture, my Bharat, myself. I'm not talking about you, your culture. I'm not talking about Arab culture. I'm not talking about Christian culture. I'm not talking about American culture. I'm talking about Indian culture. I'm talking about Ved. I'm talking about Upanishad. This is all belong to me. I own it. So you can't come to me saying no, you can't write this, because I own it. I own it, so I will write about it. I'll write. I'll write that Rani Karnavati of Garhwal defeated the Mughals. I own it. It's my pride. You know. So speaking truth about yourself, about what you know, I don't think there's any challenge in it. It may not be diplomatically correct or politically correct, but then we are not politicians. We don't
Yeah,
want to be diplomatically correct.
yeah.
We want to be stick to the truth. What is the truth? The truth is, what, if you have achieved something, if you know this is the truth, then you write about it. Let others challenge it. In a
So you,
way, uh, yeah, in way it is written that Chandra Madhi Krishnam. That means moon's soil is black. Chandra Madhi Krishnam. Right now, tell me any theology, any culture, any tradition which told you that moon's soil is black. Very basic thing, very small thing,
yeah.
right? But nobody knew about it. They told you about it, at least, I'm saying, at least uh, 3,600 years ago. That's the oldest copy which is available. But it was much older than that, because we know that Ved took the form of book uh, in nearly 7,000 years ago, and Ved
Yeah.
Vyas actually wrote those books. But it was coming via verbal translation, before that. So if I'm writing this, come and challenge me. Come and tell me, this Greek philosopher says 3,700 or 4,000 years ago that moon's soil was black. So these are the things which I write, which are the truth, which is written, which is mentioned. So I don't see, I don't think I have to be brave to express, these words.
Actually, I feel you have to be brave to take what people will be saying you online with your post. Maybe that is the bravery you need when you
No,
write.
so that's
So
why LinkedIn is a much safer platform.
I agree.
Twitter would have been different.
Yeah.
Instagram would have been different. There, people come and start, using bot IDs and start
Yeah.
abusing you,
Yeah.
and will threaten you and all those things. On LinkedIn, they can't do it, because then your entire company, your past history, everything is mentioned there, and I don't have to do anything. Just tag your company saying, see what your guys saying. Would you endorse this language? So LinkedIn is a very safe platform where people
Okay.
try to stay professional, and I also try to stay professional as much as I can.
Right. So where do you draw a line, Siddharth? Like how do you decide, okay, this I cannot write about or this I cannot post about?
Personal, never write anything personal. Yeah. Uh, I mean, you can write personal things about Mughals. They were invaders. You can write personal things about British. They were
Yeah.
invaders.
Yeah.
You can write personal things about, all the invaders who came to India to just to loot, destroy my temples. That's the truth. I mean, how do you say that it didn't happen?
Then beyond
So I
work,
will not,
yeah, go
yeah,
ahead.
I will not say anything personal about a particular person.
Yeah. Okay.
I will not point out that you did this, you did that. So that is something where I draw the line. I don't talk about anyone else's culture. I don't talk about anyone else's religion. I don't talk about anyone else's practices. Even if I know it, I will not write about it.
Uh,
Even though it is written in their books, I'll still not write about it because it belongs to them. It doesn't belong to me. I will just write about the things which belong to me. My country, my bad habits, my country's people's bad habits. I will write about the things which I which are owned by me. You're asking something.
yeah. So beyond work, posting, or business, what are the personal rituals or values that define you?
I go to temple. I do puja every day.
Good,
I put a tilak on my forehead every day.
good.
Every day. I haven't taken shower yet, and that's why you don't see a tilak on my forehead. That's a very loud message who I am, and that happens every day. I go to temples on Saturdays. I go to a lot of religious places also. Uh, I don't blindly believe in anyone. It's just what I believe in. No, I like to go there. I just like to, pray. That's it. It's not that I'm going to a temple and demanding something or requesting something. That is not something which I do. I don't. My prayers doesn't say, God give me this, make me this, God make me happy. Nothing. I just say, let there be peace. And this is generally I say because I don't have any prayer as such. It's just normal. And after 9 p.m., I think I spend a lot of time on YouTube. A lot of time. I like to read this history, historical events, read about history, read about these Indian kings and queens who existed. Um some debates I watch, but yeah, I consume uh, some content from YouTube after 9 p.m. till 11 p.m. So these 2 hours mostly I consume, and sometimes I also watch a lot of travel videos, travel bloggers. I like to see the world from their lenses.
You, in the beginning of the podcast, you mentioned that now you are not looking for a, say, 5 BHK flat or a big car. So how
Yeah.
will you say how has what is success for you now, and what it was? It has it changed since last 20s, 30s?
Yes, it has changed a lot, a lot. There was a time when I used to slog a lot, you know, 16, 17 hours straight. And I'm not saying a desk job, but field job. I was in sales. So
To become
that time I
successful?
used to, that time I used to do that kind of job, right?
Yeah.
And my definition of success was I find a job where I have a team and I'm sitting in a AC office for 4 or 5 hours, going on a field meeting, few clients, coming back to office, where I do not have much of restrictions, which happened in PayU in 2014. So I thought I'm successful. But now I'm thinking I need to buy a flat. I need to buy my own car. Right. So my definition of success again changed. Now I want a house. Then I got a flat. I got a car. Now my definition of success is again changing. I need to uh, live more comfortable life. You know. So what next? Mercedes, a 5 BHK flat. And when I achieve that, my success definition of success will again change. It will
Right.
become something else. And then again it will change and it will keep changing. And that's why I thought these materialistic things is not something which would define my success. My success would be to retire at 45 or 46 max and then do what you want to do. What you want to do, not business, not. And if you ask me what I really want to do, I want to go to Northeast India, Manipur, Mizoram, Tripura, Arunachal Pradesh, the seven sister states plus the Sikkim. I want to go there. I want to spend my time with the tribal people, with the tribes, who are considered as outsiders even today in few parts of India, you know. And I can tell you that 90% of the Indians, although the number would be much higher, 95, 96%, but on a safer side, 90% Indians would not be able to tell you the name of seven sister states. Forget the capitals. But seven sister states in fingers, they won't be able to tell you the names of those seven sister states. 90% Indians. And especially this generation, today's generation. You know, so I want to go there. I want to tell them how they can come into the mainstream. I want to teach them the policies which we have in India, for them, the reservation policies for the SC, ST, OBCs, which they should avail. Um, we know Mary Com comes from Manipur because she got medal. Sanama Chanu or weightlifter Chanu, she also comes from Manipur because they got a medal at Olympics. So we know they are from Manipur. But how many of us know Dinko Singh, the first Indian boxer to win a medal at Asian Championship, died during COVID in poverty. He was also from Manipur. So I want to bring Northeast India into the mainstream and tell the India that what these people are made of. They're very hardworking, very, very hardworking. Manipur is known for bad things because of these past riots, but
Yeah.
entire Northeast is wonderful. People are wonderful. They're very, very their civic sense is 100 times better than our civic sense in the mainland India. So I want to bring them to the mainland and I want to teach them. That's my dream, to spend my time with the deprived people of Northeast.
So you mentioned that eventually you wish to work in the northeast area of India. So I was just listening to a podcast and I came across this person called Jaideep Bansal. He's a CEO of a company called GHE. And they do similar kind of work. So they install solar panels, but only
Hmm.
in rural areas or areas which are not easily reachable. So
Hmm.
even he has amazing stories to tell when they travel
Hmm.
in Himalayas or when they travel in northeast area, especially
Hmm.
where when the things are not right. So yeah, he just wanted to tell you he does similar kind of.
No, wonderful. I mean, see, that kind of people inspire me.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm telling you, very average people inspire me. It's not Elon Musk or Ambani's or Adani's who inspire me at all. No, people who are very down to earth. There's this guy called Pankaj Kumar. He runs an Instagram channel called Earth Worry. Although he should have written it Earth Warrior, but by mistake he got this as Earth Worry. And he's working to save the rivers of India. He left his full-time job, everything, he doesn't do anything. He just roam around in the rivers and show the reality of the rivers in India. How we are damaging them and all those things. A wonderful job he's doing. A single man. And I told him, whenever you need money, just give me a call. I'll donate you something. He said, I don't need money. So it is something which inspired me even more. That he's not doing it for money. He's not doing it for views. He can easily make an NGO today and ask for donations, and people will donate. He never asked for donation. From my own self, I donate him whenever I see his video or something. I donate to him. Yeah, so he inspires me a lot.
Tell me more. Who all inspire you?
Yeah, so anyone who is doing a work not for money and not for fame. He is just doing his job to awake others. Very simple. I told you about Pankaj Kumar. There are few other people also, who I might not be knowing their names, but doing a very basic job. I'll tell you basic job. What is a basic job? Uh, have you seen these cables, revolving around a tree? When they take cable connection
Yeah,
or
yeah,
internet connection
yeah.
to your houses, they, so what he's doing is he's cutting all these cables. Now, as a consumer, that would, make me very angry. He's cutting my cable line or internet line. But if I look at it from his perspective, he's saving that tree. He's saying, why are you tying it on this tree? He's saying, put a bamboo or something around and, tie it there. Why a tree? And he cuts it, and he has so many police cases against him. And he says, I will keep doing it. You keep tying this tree, and I'll keep cutting your line. So, although I said I may not agree with his point of view 100%, but I want to understand his mindset. Why is he doing it? Is he doing it for fame? And he doesn't show his face. He
Oh, okay.
doesn't show. Yeah, but he just goes, and cuts the line and frees the tree. He said, "I'm freeing the tree." Tree have all the rights to live freely. So yeah, these kind of people, they inspire me a lot. Anyone who is trying to do something for the nature, uh, and without being registered as an NGO,
Yeah.
that is important. Because when you know that this is registered NGO, that means they also might be doing it for money. But someone single-handed doing it, no money, nothing, I just want to do it, I just want to save it. Then I have full confidence in this guy that this guy will is not corrupt. He will never be corrupt.
And coming to culture, so whether in your company, friend circle, community, what values are non-negotiable for you? And what kind of culture you're trying to build around you?
So we are all Indians,
Yeah.
right? We have lived here since centuries, maybe millennia, uh, and we have some cultural values here. For example, we live with our parents till very old age. We keep living with our parents. That's a part of our culture. Marriage is a part of our culture. That lavish marriage, inviting the entire village, entire community, and that's a part of our culture. Now, going to temples, this is not a part of culture. This is part of my religion, my rituals. But visiting that temple, seeing that temple, how it was built, how it was made, who made it, how it was made, all those things, that's a part of my culture. So it is not a very interesting topic, even for my friends, even for my friends, uh, best of my friends who are around me, they may not be knowing what I talk about. They may not be knowing, my interest levels. Even if I tell them, this is my interest level, they will not show any interest in reading or, or hearing my story. This happened. Because I get very excited when I tell the stories. When I say, for example, I say, Mughals could never invade Uttarakhand.
Yeah.
You will say, I say it with pride. You will see a pride in my face. Yeah, Mughals को नहीं आने दिया हमने उत्तराखंड में. So, so that is it's a part of, again, a part of a culture. So when I talk about my things, my culture, you will always see a different kind of energy in me. I get slightly energetic. I talk about the good things. Ved, when I talk about Ved, the laws of motion is mentioned in Ved very clearly. Gravity is mentioned in Ved very clearly. Uh, you know, very clearly. So when I talk about all these things, you'll see, I'm talking with so much of conviction, so much of energy, because it is very fascinating for me also
Yeah.
that someone knew about gravity maybe 5,000, 8,000, 10,000 years ago. I don't know since when. The oldest Shiva statue is 26,000 years old. So we are talking about beyond that time, right? Uh, Now there's a coin in Mohenjo-daro in which Lord Shiva is sitting in a yoga position. That yoga position is a very ancient yoga position. So Mohenjo-daro is 5,000 years old. We are talking about, uh, you know, uh, s- someone worshipping Lord Shiva sitting in a yoga position. Then at what time are we going? 10,000 years back, 20,000 years back, 30,000. How, so I love to talk about all this. And it's very difficult to tell these things to your friends because they may not have interest in it. It is very difficult to share it with your colleagues also. But again, the generation which is now coming, or the generation, even my generation, they do not have much of interest in all these things because we are very easygoing people, right? We don't care what is happening. We don't care. अच्छा ठीक है लिखा है ना वेद में क्या फर्क पड़ता है. So they will not find it fascinating. I find it very fascinating. How is it possible? How is it possible that uh, my ancestor knew that there's a planet called Jupiter. It is much before Galileo invented his telescope, and my ancestor told us that it is the heaviest planet in entire solar system, and that's why it's called Guru. Guru means heavy. Gurutvakarshana means the force which is pulling your body, which is making your body heavy. So Gurutvakarshana, and Jupiter is known as Guru. Thousands of years ago, my ancestor knew that Jupiter takes entire round in uh, uh, revolves around the sun in 12 years, 12 Earth years, and that's why we celebrate Kumbh Mela. Now, why do we celebrate Kumbh Mela? Because Guruत्वाकर्षण, Jupiter has the maximum this thing gravitational force, and it pulls all the objects which are flying in the space into it and protecting our Earth. So these things are written, and I find very fascinating. I like to talk about it, but people do not like to talk about it. They may like to read it when I write it, but mostly they'll forget what I write. Honestly, I'm telling you. This is maybe I write only for my own satisfaction.
Yeah, yeah. I just feel it's individuality. I mean,
Hmm.
you will see all kind of people. Some are interested, maybe some are interested in other things. So, I mean, that's okay. We cannot expect everyone to be like ourselves.
Absolutely
Yeah,
fine, absolutely fine, and that's why I said, I write for my own satisfaction.
yeah.
There are a lot of people who comes to me and saying, LinkedIn is for professional things.
Mm,
Why are you writing all these things? I said, yeah, this is my professional thing. No, I'm not looking for a job. I'm not
mm.
hiring anyone. I don't want to write how to become a great leader. I don't want to write how a leader should behave. You know, there are a lot of people who write up on these subjects. अंकुर वारिक को कीप राइटिंग है, फॉलो करो ना अंकुर वारिक को, वो अच्छा लिखता है. उसको वो सर्टिफिकेट डाला था उसने भी कल परसों. दैट इज मोटिवेशनल स्पीच विच इज गिविंग. सो गेट मोटिवेट फ्रॉम व्हाट इज राइटिंग. I don't write motivational speeches or motivational things. I write what is happening around me, my story, my things. That's it. You don't like to read it, don't read it. Yeah, block me or stop reading my. Don't tell me here what I should do, what I should write, what I should not write. There were times when I used to write very very rude posts,
Yeah.
very very rude posts. Yeah, yeah. Unfiltered, unfiltered. I can't tell you what level of people have messaged me. I will not name anyone, but they message me saying, Siddharth, we can't like your post because it would be controversial for us.
I
But what
understand.
you have written is absolutely right.
Mm.
What you have written is absolutely correct. We really appreciate that you are writing all these things, but we can't like it. And I can't tell you who are these people are. I mean, consider them as the chairman of HDFC Bank, or although not him, but that level of people.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They shared their email ID, their mobile numbers with me. That we're in this location, come meet me in my office, come
Nice.
to our office someday. So I have changed from that side to this side, what I write today. But today also, if someone says, don't write about armed forces, don't write about this, don't write about that. I don't think I need any, unsolicited gyan from anyone. And I will continue to write what I really want to write.
So are you optimistic about the society? I'm asking because you observe the flaws. I've seen your post. You also observe the good things about society, but in general and going ahead, are you optimistic?
Absolutely. I'm telling you, the generation which was born after 2012, 2013, 2014, especially 2014, this generation, although it has immense potential, and I'm seeing this generation uh, much better than the previous generation which was born in 2000s or in 90s. Much better because they are very aware.
Yeah.
They're taking their things very seriously. But again, in this generation also, there are few people who are really awful because they have seen money from the very beginning.
Yeah. Yeah.
There are parents who tell their kids कि यार अरे यहीं फेंक देना, ये कूड़ा यहीं डाल देना, मतलब
Mm.
उठा लेगा कोई, सफाई वाला आ जाएगा. So that generation is still there, but the way it is, the proportion of the much evolved society is much higher now. So I'm very optimistic, and I think in another 50, 60 years things will change a lot. I may not survive to see that day, but I'm sure in 50 to 60 years things will improve a lot in India. We'll be much more aware. The kids will be much more aware. They will discuss the cleanliness, the nature, the survival, everything. They will talk about AI also, but they will try to solve the problems as well. So yes, I am optimistic, very much optimistic.
That's my question, Siddharth. You think any point you would like, or we have missed out, you would like to share on this podcast?
No, nothing. So in case your readers are, sorry, your viewers, they want to understand my point of view. I just want to say one thing. I get extra emotional when I talk about my country, and I get extra emotional when I see someone destroying it. be it government, be it local, be it tourist, outsider, anyone. And I am very blunt in, calling out those who are trying to destroy, because, we exist because the country exists. And for 1,000 years, our ancestors fought with so many invaders continuously, one after another, back to back, kept fighting, kept fighting. And that's why we are living this life today. If we don't save our country, then I don't think there's any future. Don't think कि यार कोई आके कर देगा. You have to do it. So you stop. Don't try to change others. So this is something which I always say. Don't try to change others. Change yourself. Change your habits. That's it. I think that would be enough. If we can change our habits, even if one person changes their habit, a lot will change. At every given point of time, 1% people must change their habit, and you will say in 40, 50, 60 years, India will change their habits. Then, if you see someone littering, then 10 people will come and put that garbage in their car or in their bag itself. They'll say, yeah, this is your garbage, carry it where you want to carry. So I want to see that day, but I think I may not be able to survive for that long. I see 50, 60 years as a reasonable time period. But thank you, Anirudh, for inviting me. Uh, it was really nice interacting with you.
Thank you for coming on podcast. It was nice to know you as a person, Siddharth, and thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Anirudh. Have a good time. Bye bye.
Thank you.